The privacy of a nation, smart grid data, and the global space. We've all heard talk of the smart meter craze sweeping the nation. Intelligent devices in our homes, recording our electricity usage and sending it back to our electric service provider. Some Americans feel that their privacy is being violated. A computer or person can read a smart meter data usage chart and determine when you get up in the morning, when you go to bed, and which appliances you use in between. They can even tell if you've recently bought an electric car, or if you've decided to start growing marijuana in your basement. Some Americans have refused the installation of these smart meters, citing privacy violations, even though electric service providers assure them that their data is secure. And while this is a pertinent problem, what happens if we pull this data together? What could someone do with information concerning the smart meter data of, for example, every home in the United States with a smart meter? First, let's take a look at the electric grid infrastructure today. Power courses into every home in the United States through an intricate system of circuits, power lines, interconnections, and electric substations. In fact, the functionality of the grid depends upon many of the other major energy industries, including coal, natural gas, oil, and nuclear power, forming an interconnected and complex system influenced by a great number of factors. This only means that a simple change to the grid could have a rippling effect. So then why do we want to change to the smart grid? The distribution of power throughout the grid today is based on several factors, including the time of day and the peak energy use for a region or area. However, even with these factors, a lot of power is getting lost due to consumer overuse of electricity and electric service provider overestimate of electricity need. With the smart grid, a dynamic give and take between the electric service provider and the consumer can occur, giving both parties more knowledge and control concerning their electricity use. Furthermore, electric appliances can be equipped with automatic shutoff, meaning that your refrigerator could know when it needs to be at full power or half power. Or, your constantly plugged-in devices can turn off when they're not in use automatically. Besides saving money, this is important because as the world grows in population, its overall energy use is growing at exceedingly large rates, meaning that we need to save energy any place we can. However, in our rush to save money and energy, it is crucial to remember the importance of security and privacy by extension. The smart grid is even more connected than the electric grid today, via internet-connected smart meters, meaning that it is more vulnerable than ever to attacks. While the most devastating form of an attack many can imagine is a nationwide power outage, the information that could be leaked via a breach in the smart grid technology could have far-reaching repercussions. A privacy leak could result in serious financial damage to the United States. Since the 1980s, electric service providers have employed time-of-use pricing, which is when the cost of power changes based on known peak usages during the day. Tactics such as these are under the umbrella of the demand response system, which is when electric service providers charge different prices based on various criteria. Some examples include critical peak pricing, or changing price at a particularly taxing time, or demand bidding, which is when electric service providers foresee a peak pricing event and the consumer bids the amount of time they're willing to reduce demands. However, let's imagine that somebody has gained control over the demand response system integration with the smart grid. They could do any number of things. They could overload the system, creating a fake peak event and taking advantage of the resulting drop in demand. Alternatively, they could drastically change the critical peak and/or time of day pricing, causing a serious strain on the infrastructure economy in the United States. If we take it a step farther, a hostile foreign nation could use this data to acquire an intimate understanding of the United States' electricity usage, and thus raise the price of oil or natural gas at times of greatest need. If we return to the initial consumer concern of privacy data, this too could result in a serious terrorist attack or infrastructure failure. With knowledge of the habits of an entire body of people, attacks could be timed to the minute. Planned outages recorded in the utility system's power can be used to piggyback into the U.S. electrical grid system. So what can we do about this? There has been a great deal of research in the field of securing the grid, specifically protecting the data that is transmitted using cryptography, secure protocols, firewalls, and strong authentication. As far as securing individual data, researchers have designed tools to pollute the data being transmitted from the smart meter to the energy service provider with noise, so that it is not as easy to identify an individual consumer. The crucial substations connecting natural gas sources to the rest of the grid system could be better secured, with their locations even more private than they are today. However, the big effector of change here is the policymakers and engineers as the United States begins to fully usher in the smart grid as its new electric grid infrastructure. There is currently a push and pull between power plant owners, lawyers, and electric service providers to ensure maximum revenue for each. However, the truth is that we are in dire need of an updated electrical grid infrastructure, and it is essential that privacy and not just security is a foremost thought on the minds of those pioneering the United States adoption of the smart grid.